This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
All right, and welcome to the GSMC Sports Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network, and as always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. All right, it is Friday, end of the week, and I swear I feel like I've been getting my days all mixed up this week. All right, yesterday I thought it was Wednesday. I think I've just been a day behind of everyone, I think. Yeah, it's been a bit of a weird week as far as the world of sports go. A lot going on. We had the Stanley Cup final game 5 going on yesterday. Caps ended up winning that one. They are now your Stanley Cup champions. We will be talking about that later on in the show. We will also be talking about Ronaldo possibly could be leaving, according to ESPN FC. All right, wants to stay in Europe though, so we'll talk about that. Talk about what teams would be good for him. Let's see, we're also going to talk about the game tonight, Game 4 between the Cavs and Warriors. I'm about this game. I mean, I got thoughts on the game and the series as a whole, and pretty much just my interest point and all that. So we'll talk about that. And with the World Cup coming up next Thursday, which I cannot wait for. All right, we're going to be talking a lot about the World Cup too once it gets here. But nonetheless, with it coming next Thursday, I figured let's talk about some teams, some dark horse teams, and pretty much just give like a little overview, I guess. So that's what we'll be doing for today's show. It's going to be a bit of more of a funner one, okay? Obviously not too much going on right now. Like I said, we got Game 4 going on tonight. We got World Cup preparations coming up. All right, Stanley Cup final took place yesterday. And it's pretty much all that's going on right now. I mean, pretty much all that we've covered so far. We've already covered everything so far, I'd say. So, yeah, that's how the show's going to go. All right, let's talk about Ronaldo possibly leaving. Let's lead off with a soccer topic. All right, and the next up we'll talk about Game 4 between Cleveland and Golden State. But nonetheless, seems that Ronaldo now actually wants out. Okay, after the Champions League match against Liverpool, you saw that he was going to make a decision on his future and all that. Said he's enjoyed his time in Madrid at the trophy presentation. Okay, after a couple days after that, he says, nope, I will be back in Madrid. And now we got ESPN FC reporting that, according to their sources, Ronaldo wants to leave, but he wants to stay in Europe. Okay? And Ronaldo he's an attention seeker, okay? I will say that. And you could tell that he does love the headlines on him. And I just feel like how much can we feed into this? Meaning this story of him wanting to leave and stay in Europe, okay? Of course he wouldn't want to leave Europe. He's still playing at a top level and is still one of the top 2 best players in the world, okay? But it's just a point where I feel like we've gotten this story the last 4 years. Okay, he's been linked to United every summer, I feel. And I feel like every year we get closer. Oh, is this going to be the year he finally goes? Oh, no, it's going to be this year. Oh, no, it's going to be this year, not last year. And I feel like that's been the case for a while. Okay? And could he leave? Yeah. But it's just a point of, I think it's just Ronaldo trying to create headlines for himself. Okay? I mean, let's just go out and say if he has a real great World Cup or whatnot, I mean, these rumors are going to get even better. And like I said, it's just a point where, I mean, if I had to put money on it, I'd say he probably still stays. And I'm not sure, obviously we got these rumors, and I'm thinking maybe Ronaldo could be thinking about leaving because of the fact that Neymar has been such a hot topic for Madrid. Okay? And obviously, like I said, Ronaldo's an attention seeker. I think he likes to have the headlines about him and all. And if Neymar were to go to Real Madrid, okay? If Neymar were to go to Real Madrid, then that takes away a lot of the spotlight from Cristiano Ronaldo. Okay? As big as Ronaldo is, Neymar is the next big thing as far as the marketing level and all that of a guy like Ronaldo. Okay? And you know, if Neymar were to go to Madrid, then you'd have all the journalists out there in Spain pretty much talking about the fact whose team is it? Is this Ronaldo's? Is this Neymar's team and all? And you know Ronaldo really won't stand for that. Okay? And I think that is a big part as to why we keep seeing these transfer season rumors right here. Okay? Just given the fact that it's just Ronaldo wants the spotlight on him. That's all it is here. Okay? I think that's all it's ever been. You got Marcelo, who's asked about the Neymar rumors, and Marcelo's saying, why can't both Ronaldo and Neymar be here? Okay? It would work. He also says that Neymar isn't the president or the owner of Real Madrid, so if the president wants to bring him on, talking about the president wants to bring Neymar on, then the president could bring Neymar on. All right? And I think that's what's holding it up right now is just Ronaldo. I don't think he necessarily wants Neymar there. Okay? If you're Ronaldo, why would you? I mean, you're pretty much the face of Real Madrid. Okay? You always have been. And you bring in Neymar, he's going to be the one who's getting most of the spotlight. So, it's going to be very interesting to see what ends up happening. I mean, going into the World Cup, what do we expect from Portugal? Okay? I mean, they got a solid team. And they're in a fairly easy group. I mean, Spain is their only real competition, and I'm assuming that both are going to be making it out of there. But it's just a point where if you're Portugal, I mean, or at least Ronaldo, you got to go out and win the trophy before Messi does. All right? And I mean, neither Argentina or Portugal are guaranteed a World Cup title, and I'm trying to find Portugal's 23-man squad right here. But nonetheless, I mean, that is probably the last thing Ronaldo needs to win, is a World Cup. Ronaldo wins a World Cup, I mean, what else does he have left to accomplish? He's got the Ballon d'Ors, he's got the Champions League, he's got a Copa del Rey, he's got a league title, he's got a Euro title, even though he didn't play in that matchup. Well, he did, but ended up getting injured early on. I think all he's missing is a World Cup. He's got a Club World Cup, doesn't he? Okay. So, I mean, as far as expectations on that, I don't think that expectations are as high on Ronaldo to win the World Cup than Messi, now that I think about it. And it's a very odd thing to think about, meaning just the differences, okay? And maybe it's because we prop up Messi a little bit more, and I think we've all come, well, except for obviously you got Messi fans and you got Ronaldo fans and all, but I feel like the consensus as far as the unbiased third parties out there, as far as you're not generally a fan of Messi or Ronaldo, is just you enjoy watching the game and whatnot. I figure that the majority think that Messi is the best player in the world. Okay? But like I said, I'm not sure why Messi's got all this pressure on him to win the World Cup rather than Ronaldo. Is it because Ronaldo has done so well at the international level where it doesn't matter if he wins a World Cup? I mean, we have Messi, who has not won really anything at the international level that is of note, anything major or anything like that. Okay? I'm thinking maybe it could be that Messi's still kind of behind a Maradona, where Maradona won World Cups. Alright? I'm not really sure. Alright, but it is something to think about, just why Messi's got more pressure. Because, I mean, we have this little thing where it's Messi won't be the greatest of all time unless he wins a World Cup. And I think that is a bit unfair, actually. Okay, because I don't know, it's the whole thing with soccer and sports here in the US. Okay, soccer is a whole lot different as far as how the fans are regarded, and pretty much how much trophies matter. Okay, because obviously, like in basketball, the NBA Finals, how many titles you got matters, how many Super Bowls you got in the NFL matters and all. But I don't think it matters as much as it does in the soccer world. Okay, because you got Messi, who, I mean, we know, at least I think he is the best player in the world. But people will see that the way he plays and all the way he plays for Barcelona, but will say, you know what, it doesn't matter because he hasn't won anything with Argentina. Okay, I feel like that's, like I said, that's why some people still put him behind Maradona, is because he hasn't won a major international trophy. All right, and maybe that's just what it is. I mean, with Ronaldo, we already know who Ronaldo is. We know where he stands among Portugal's greatest players and all. But it's just with Messi, it's like, I don't know, it's weird. I'm trying to talk my way through it to figure out why. But it just feels that way, right? That Argentina's got a whole lot more pressure than Portugal. Is it because Argentina has the better team also compared to Portugal? Whereas, I mean, in reality, it is Ronaldo leading 10 other men. Whereas Messi's got guys like Higuain, Aguero, Di Maria, Dybala, and a bunch of other very good players on that team. All right, maybe that's just what it is. Argentina has a squad good enough to where they should have won at least the World Cup already. Okay. 2014, excuse me. I skipped a whole 4 years, but nonetheless, 2014 was a year where they came close, obviously losing in the final to Germany. Messi being held goalless in that game along with everyone else on Argentina. And I think, too, isn't that the game where Higuain celebrated way too early? Was basically celebrating like about 50 seconds after we already knew it wasn't a goal. But nonetheless, I mean, that's just one thing where I'm thinking about pretty much the pressure and all that. But like I said, getting back to Ronaldo as far as the whole transfer and all that, I mean, this could be the year. He could end up with a team like Manchester United, possibly even a PSG. I figure Manchester City would be an option, but I don't really see him playing for Manchester United and then going to City, although he's played for different clubs since he was at United. And I think the best fit for him would be to go to United, playing with Mourinho, and I think that instantly makes them title favorites. I mean, that's just kind of the weight Ronaldo carries still. All right? So we'll see what ends up happening. But like I said, I mean, there's no real pressure on Ronaldo, I guess, for him to go anywhere, for him to stay. It's just a matter of what he wants, I guess. I mean, if Madrid are trying to get Neymar, it seems that Ronaldo's trying to leave. Madrid don't get Neymar, Ronaldo will probably stay. So we'll see what ends up happening. But nonetheless, we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, I got some thoughts on Game 4 and this NBA Final Series. So stay tuned, and I will be right back.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines. They got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. We spent that first segment talking about Ronaldo, also talked a bit about Messi and his World Cup hopes and all that. All right, we're going to be talking more about the World Cup in the third segment, doing a little preview and all that, just giving a little overview, whatnot. All right, so we're going to be doing that. But nonetheless, for this segment, I got some thoughts on Game 4 in this series as a whole, talking about the NBA Finals. Okay, we got Golden State versus Cleveland going on tonight. And honestly, I feel like everyone's pretty much just over this series. Okay, is there any real true excitement for tonight's matchup? All right, I'd say that there probably isn't. I mean, I don't think there's anyone that really cares about the game tonight. Okay? We saw Game 1. Cleveland did their best, came close, nonetheless, couldn't get it done. All right? JR or not, Cleveland did have multiple opportunities to take that game and even had an extra overtime period where they could have played better than what they did. Okay, so they lose game 1. Game 2, I mean, no one was really expecting them to win it there. All right, they lose that one. What was it, like 122 to 103 or whatnot? Game 3, which was on Wednesday, I mean, that was Cleveland's shot right there to make it a series. All right, Cleveland pretty much did all they could. It's just Kevin Durant was that much better than everyone on that team. Okay. And it's just now for Game 4, I mean, what is there to get excited about is basically my thing here. If you're a Warriors fan, you're excited because you're about to see your team win a championship. And if you're a Cavs fan, I'm not even sure you can get excited because this is probably going to be LeBron's last game tonight. Unless somehow Cleveland ends up pulling off a Game 4 win here and ends up losing in 5 to Golden State. Okay? But nonetheless, I mean, you got 2 different fan bases who are going to end up with 2 completely different feelings. Okay? And as far as us fans who aren't fans of the Cavs or the Warriors, I mean, is there any real incentive to watch this game? I'll be watching it because that's my job. Okay? But nonetheless, I mean, let's say that we had the Stanley Cup final going on tonight, Game 5, and this Game 4 between Golden State and Cleveland. Most of my attention is probably going to the Stanley Cup final game. Okay? But of course, with this being the only thing on, I'll definitely be watching. But nonetheless, it's just like, I think we've hit a point where we've lost all care about this series, okay? And this might be one of the worst NBA final series, at least for me, that I've watched, okay? I always think back to the finals between the Magic and Lakers back in, 2009, I think? And I think we all knew at that time that the Magic stood no chance against that Lakers team. Okay? Or at least that was my impression. I in no way thought that year the Orlando Magic had any shot at beating Kobe and the guys there. And I figured it was going to be one where it probably ends in 5 games or it ends in a sweep. Okay? And I think didn't it end in 6 games, I think? Or was it 5? Okay. And let me see. I'll double check it. I'm going to go through and I'm going to see. Yeah, I'm going to go through each finals and I'm going to see exactly how many of them were as lopsided as this one. All right, just to give an idea, I guess. All right. So going through it. Let me see. Speaking of that Lakers and Magic series, Lakers ended up winning it in 5. Okay. And of course, you had that 2007 series with the Spurs and Cavs, but that was a bit of a different one. Just, I don't know. That was a younger LeBron, and that was probably, besides this one, the worst team he's ever played with. Okay? And I'm just talking about, like, going into this series, just a matter of you knew that this team had no shot whatsoever. All right? It was a little bit like last year, except we did see Cleveland take 1 game, and that was Game 4, I believe. All right? This year, I mean, you got the Warriors up 3-0. Like I said, that Lakers-Magic series, no one expected the Magic to do anything there. All right. Any of the Detroit Pistons and Lakers won in 2004 that ended in 5 games. But I think more so people were shocked about that one rather than anything else. Lakers swept the Nets in 2002. All right. And that Lakers dynasty right there was pretty solid. All right. But as far as recent memory, I'd say that this series right here with the Warriors and Cavs probably was about the same as the Magic and Lakers series back in 2009, where, I mean, no one was really too interested in it, I feel. All right, and no one's ever really been too interested in the Orlando Magic, I'd say. But it's just a point where, what's the point of watching tonight? Okay. Honestly. I mean, let's say that the Cavs end up winning tonight. Is there any real excitement for Game 5? I wouldn't think so. Okay. And it's just a point where I think even LeBron's at the point where he doesn't really care about who wins or who loses now. Okay. Watching LeBron over his career, I've seen that, and I'm sure we've all seen that. The media and the criticism is always right there. Okay, right in front of his face. Year after year. LeBron did this, oh, but he can't do this. LeBron did that, oh, but he can't do that. Remember him coming up. LeBron, obviously one of the best players in the league. Oh, but he hasn't won a title yet. Okay. LeBron wins a title. Oh, but he's not on Kobe's level or Jordan's level. LeBron wins multiple titles. Oh, but look at his finals record. Jordan never did that. Kobe never did that at all. Okay. The goalpost seemingly just kept getting moved for LeBron. And I think he's reached a point where he knows that he's working as hard as he can to get this team where it needs to be. And obviously he has, because they've made the NBA Finals. But I think LeBron is over the fact of once he gets there, it's about winning or whatnot. I think LeBron has gotten to the point where it's all about, you know what? I trained as hard as I could. I played as well as I could. If we don't win, then we don't win. And everyone else's opinions don't really matter. Okay. So I think even for tonight, I mean, I don't think we're going to see a LeBron who puts up 40 plus or whatever. I think we're going to see a LeBron who puts up a nice little 30-point triple-double, has a nice little game. Obviously not a game where, like, oh, wow, LeBron played really well here. Okay. And I think this is just one of those ones where it could just be a blowout tonight, I think. And that might just be what I'm predicting here. I don't really see any incentive for the Cavs to play I'm not expecting a decent game from the Cavs, I think, is what I'm getting. I think they're done. Mentally, I think they're done. I think they've checked out of the series, honestly. Okay. And as for the Warriors, I think they're just going for the kill here. I think their thing is, you know what? Let's sleep LeBron out of Cleveland. Okay, and that's essentially probably what's going to end up happening here. All right. And like I said, for me, I just think it all just comes down to this Cleveland Cavs team is pretty much just, oh, well, what's the point, you know? But like I said, this has been one of the more interesting finals, I feel. All right, we've seen these teams play each other 4 years in a row. First time was back in 2015. Cavs lost that one in 6. Cavs won in 2016 and 7. Last year the Warriors won in 5, and it seems like now the Warriors are going to win in 4. Okay. Yeah, I am predicting a blowout for tonight. I don't see really Cleveland showing up. I understand that it's not the greatest thing to get swept on your home floor, and I think, the last team to get swept in the finals was the Cleveland Cavaliers against the San Antonio Spurs. And that's definitely going to be a story or a narrative that's being talked about after this game tonight, I think, is that, of course, the last team to get swept in the finals was also a LeBron-led team. And that's going to be another reason for people to pile on. But nonetheless, I mean, as far as what the Cavs need to do to win tonight, pretty much try and do whatever you can to guard Kevin Durant. Okay, LeBron's got to drop 40 plus for them to have a chance. Kevin Love's obviously got to play as well as he has so far. And then I guess the Cavs just need to play well as a team. That's all it is. All right. They seemingly struggled to put a decent game by everyone together. Okay? And as far as stopping the Warriors, I mean, it's just a matter of where you just got to limit them. They're going to hit their shots no matter what. Okay? Whether it's KD, Clay, or Steph, someone's going to hit their shots. And someone's going to play well. But it's just a point of pretty much just keeping it to a lower limit, like I said. Okay? But like I said, I mean, I'm thinking that this is going to be one of the lower rated finals games ever. And I'm thinking that, but I'm also thinking, you know what? This could be LeBron's last game in Cleveland and last game as a Cleveland Cavalier, but that kind of loses its luster there when he already was with the Cavs before. Okay? I mean, once he leaves Cleveland here, I don't think he's ever coming back. But it's just the point of, as far as the ratings tonight, I don't think they're going to be that great. All right. I mean, what's the point? Like I said, there's been no real coverage as far as the game. It hasn't really been talked about as much in social media, given yesterday and today that I've seen so far. All right, so yeah, I do think that is going to be one of the lower-rated finals games. It'll probably be the lowest-rated game of this. I don't know, I could just be underestimating it and thinking people just might want to be watching LeBron lose here. Kind of like when people started buying Floyd Mayweather's fights towards the last few years of his career. I mean, people were just buying the fights just to watch him lose. Maybe that's what we got here tonight as far as the ratings and stuff. Like I said, I think it's going to be a low-rated game where it's going to be a blowout that Golden State wins. But it's a point where maybe people tune in to watch just to see LeBron lose or whatnot. Because like I said, that's exactly what they did with Floyd Mayweather back toward the final years of his career. So we'll see what ends up happening. But like I said, I mean, this series has been very uninteresting. Hasn't really been that great to watch. And it's all something where we all knew it was going to happen. I think that's why everyone's losing interest in it very fast. But nonetheless, we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we're going to be talking about a few teams in the World Cup, give it a little overview and all that. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA, from the UFC to extreme cage fighting. They got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. We spent that first segment talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. He could be leaving. Obviously, you got to wait till the World Cup is over, because obviously he's got all his focus with the Portuguese national team now. All right, so we talked about that. Also talked a bit about Messi and his expectations in the first segment. All right, second segment, we talked about this NBA Finals series. I mean, I've lost interest in it. I'm not afraid to say that. Okay, of course I'm going to be watching the game tonight and all, but it's just a point where, I mean, what's there to get excited about tonight's game, honestly? Okay, someone could give me one reason as to why I should be excited about tonight's game, then I would be, but it's just, I mean, Cleveland wins. I'm under the impression that they lose game 5, so it's just another added game, okay? If Cleveland loses, then it's just, okay, we expected this, all right? And I'm curious to see how many people predicted sweep for this series, too. I predicted Warriors in 5. I figured that maybe Cleveland could get one at home. Obviously, that comes down to tonight's game. Okay? But as far as a sweep, I'm curious to see how many people just thought, you know what? Given how well LeBron has played, it still doesn't matter. They're going to lose in 4 to this team. All right? I mean, we are watching one of the greatest teams of all time here. Okay, if not the greatest. I think I'm over the whole Jordan's Bulls would beat this team. And obviously you got the Showtime Lakers and all, but who's guarding KD, who's guarding Steph, who's guarding Clay? And Draymond's going to do his thing. I don't know. All right. But nonetheless, that's what we've talked about so far. And now, obviously, we're going to get prepared for the World Cup some more. We got it started next week, next Thursday. Okay? Best tournament in the world for me. It's better than the NFL playoffs. It's better than the NBA playoffs. It's better than the NHL playoffs. It's better than the MLB playoffs. Okay, there's literally nothing like the World Cup. The only reason why you don't enjoy the World Cup is if you're just not a soccer fan. All right. But nonetheless, let's talk about these teams. So, I mean, let's start off with England, okay? England have talent, okay? But it's just, they always seemingly don't meet expectations, okay? Never do. It doesn't matter who's there or whatnot. There's always a problem with that team. Okay. And let me see. I think they have a pretty decent squad out there. I think we've talked about them already before. Okay. Nonetheless, let me see if I can find the exact squad here. And I'm curious to see who they end up starting in the midfield. And if they end up going with Rashford up top, along with Harry Kane. Maybe you play Rashford on the wing there. Okay. But nonetheless, England definitely do need to do something. All right, you got Belgium in their group. I think they should make it out there. All right. And obviously you'd like them to maybe make it to the quarterfinal or even the semifinal. Okay. 2014 World Cup. I don't think they made. Yeah, I believe they didn't make it out the group. All right, it was Costa Rica and Uruguay that did. England and Italy missed out. 2010, they make it out the group. End up losing to Germany 4-1. Okay. In the round of 16. 2006, they end up making it to the quarterfinal, I believe. Yeah, they made it to the quarterfinal. All right. Ended up losing to Portugal in penalties. Then over in 2002, they lose in the quarters to Brazil. 1998, they lose in the round of 16. 1994, they don't do much there. Okay. They don't do anything there, I feel. So, actually, they didn't even qualify in 1994. All right. So, England have always been a team, well, I mean, since 98 and on, haven't gotten past the quarterfinals. Okay. And I feel it's a bit unacceptable given that they do have talent there. They should never be as bad as they've been. Okay. So definitely this year, I'm just looking to see how that team really plays together. You're not going to have a Joe Hart or anything out there. A lot of the guys from the old England squad's all gone now. Okay, now it's just time for the younger people, younger players to step up. The guys like Rashford, Kane, okay, Dele Alli. All right. I'm curious to see if they end up throwing Trent Alexander-Arnold as a starter in the World Cup. Okay. So we'll see what ends up happening with them, but definitely they do need to finally get past. And I feel like expectations for England aren't even too high. It's just, I don't know. Like no one's expecting them to go out and win it. Okay. At least I'm not. I think that's a bit unfair to give them those kind of expectations. Okay. And I mean, let me see here currently. But yeah, like I said, I mean, no one's expecting them to go out and win it. Just go out and just play well. Okay? Of course, you want them to make it to the quarterfinal. Round of 16, I think, would be a disappointment. All right. But it's to the point where finally they got to deliver on something. England should be a team. They should be a top power, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They should be on the level of maybe a Belgium and that Brazil side. Okay. Looking at their team, like I said, they brought Jack Butland, Jordan Pickford, Nick Pope, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Gary Cahill, Fabian Delph, Phil Jones, Harry Maguire, Danny Rose, John Stones, Kieran Trippier, Kyle Walker, Ashley Young, midfielders Dele Alli, Eric Dyer, Jordan Henderson, Jesse Lingard, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, forwards Kane, Rashford, Sterling, Vardy, Welbeck. I mean, as far as the forwards, I'm definitely starting Kane, Rashford, and Sterling if I'm England, going with the front three. Okay, in the middle, I'd go Ali, probably Henderson, and Dyer. Maybe Lingard instead of either Dyer. All right, just have Henderson play as the holding mid. And then defenders, I'd go with Alexander-Arnold, Cahill, either Maguire or Stones, and then Kyle Walker on the outside. As far as a keeper, I don't think it really matters to me. I think they got 3 quality keepers there, so you can take your pick. All right, but definitely this year, the watch is going to be on England as far as them at least making it to the quarters. Anything other than that, I feel, is a disappointment. So we'll see what ends up happening with them. Another team that's got a lot of expectations, obviously, France. Okay. And France are a world power as far as the national team. Okay. They've won their World Cups. I think last World Cup they won was back in 98, I believe. All right, beat Brazil there, lost in 2002. Okay, lost in 2006, the final to Italy. Remember that was the Zidane headbutt game. 2010, they don't even make it out the group stages, and in 2014 they make it out the group, but end up losing in the quarterfinals, I believe. Okay. And let's look at their little last. All right, yeah. So quarterfinal in 2014, 2010 don't make it out the group. Finish as runners-up in 2006. 2002, I was mistaken. Actually, did not make it out of the group. 1998, they beat Brazil. 94-90, no qualification. 86, third place. 82, fourth place. All right, so they've always done pretty well in the World Cup, but it's just a matter of staying on the same page. Okay, I think that's their biggest thing right there, is to stay on the same page and pretty much just be a complete team as they progress through the World Cup. All right. And I mean, France, I don't think we really talk about them enough as far as being up there with the Brazils, the Germanys, the Spains, and the Argentinas or whatnot, but they do have the quality to fight out with those teams, and it's just a matter of they need to just deliver on expectations. And I think that's kind of the theme here with England and France. It's just delivering on expectations. Okay? There's really no reason why France shouldn't go out and at least make the semifinal or whatnot. I would say that France probably are one of the top 4 teams. I think I'd put them above Spain right now. As great as Spain's midfield is, I'd say that it's not extremely better than, it's better than France's, not miles ahead. And I'd say France's striker situation's a whole lot better than Spain's also. All right, so it's going to be very interesting to see how exactly France and England play well, or if they play well. Okay, and also, like I said, we talked about it in the first segment, just Messi and Argentina. Their expectation is to go out and win the World Cup and nothing less. Losing in the final won't be enough. It'll be a disappointment if they do not win the World Cup. Okay. My biggest question with Argentina is, are they going to find a way to keep Dybala and Messi on the same field at the same time? Okay. I mean, I don't understand why Argentina's coach refuses to start them together. I think you could find 2 spots on the field where they'll both play well. But it's also just a point, too, where there's a lot of pressure on him. Okay? This is probably Messi's last World Cup as far as him being in his prime. And if he doesn't get it here, I'm not sure he gets in 2022. All right? So Argentina definitely, like I said. England, the pressure more so, make the quarterfinals, will be fine. France, make the semifinals, they'll be fine. Argentina got to go out and win the thing. Okay, they lost in 2014 to Germany. And I think the last major international trophy they won was back in 1991, I believe. All right, and this seemingly is the trophy that's keeping Messi from being regarded as the greatest of all time. At least undoubtedly, I feel. All right, so we'll see what ends up happening there, but I wanted to talk about those 3 teams. Maybe we'll talk more about the World Cup in the next segment, but nonetheless, we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we'll be talking about anything else going on in the world of sports. So stay tuned, and I will be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's GSMCpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. We spent that last segment talking about France, England, and Argentina. Both got some pretty big expectations on them. Argentina, to more so go out and win the cup rather than, that's their goal right there, win the cup. Anything other than that is definitely a failure. As far as England, it's just pretty much just don't bottle it, how they say. Okay. Go out and just pretty much, I think a quarterfinal finish would be good for England. All right. Anything less than that would be a failure. And as far as France, I think they got to make it to the semifinal. Other than that, I mean, that's a failure there too, unless they get past the semifinal and end up winning the thing or at least playing in the final. All right. But nonetheless, we've talked about that. Talked about game 4 tonight. And we also talked about Ronaldo possibly leaving Madrid. Okay. We actually spent the first segment on that, led off with a soccer topic today. Look at us. All right. But nonetheless, Game 5 of the Stanley Cup final took place yesterday. We now have a new Stanley Cup champion. The Washington Capitals are now your Stanley Cup champions. All right. I was watching the game. First period was a bit of a sleeper. Okay. No goal scored or anything like that. Tom Wilson gave out some big hits there. Okay. And you could totally tell he's public enemy number one with people among the NHL, it seems, given the fact that he's always out there pretty much headhunting. But nonetheless, they end the first period 0-0. Second period comes and complete opposite of the first period. All right. You got Vegas taking a 3-2 lead after the second period. Then the third period comes and Caps pretty much had control there. All right. They end up scoring 2 goals in the third, taking the lead. And you could tell, like, the last 5 minutes of the game, the Caps were a bit tight, knowing that they were so close to winning it all. All right. You're seeing last couple minutes, you're seeing the camera go to Ovechkin when he's on the bench, pretty much just as tight as can be. All right. Like, dude, we're about to do this. We got to finish it and all. And I'm sure most Washington Capitals fans were the same way. I mean, when's the last time anyone in Washington won anything? Okay. Honestly. And I think I need to check that right now. Washington isn't really a sports, I don't want to say sports city, but a successful one. Okay? And let me see. The Caps obviously won. I don't think the Nationals have ever won anything yet. The Wizards, I don't think they've really won much. Okay? I'm trying to find one where I could find the Alright, so when was their last sports championship? Washington, D.C. Last sports championship was it really in 1992? Really? I guess 1992 was the last time Washington had a championship team. Okay. The Redskins beat the Bills in the Super Bowl, and I don't think that counts. If that was the years that the Bills pretty much went to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row, right? I mean, that's basically a free pass to win a Super Bowl if you're playing the Bills. Okay. Yeah, beat the Bills 37-24 in Super Bowl 26, I believe. That's XXVI, 26. I'm not great with the Roman numerals. All right. NFL, I think they've kind of gotten away from them, thankfully, but nonetheless. Yeah. That's the last time the team has won a championship, back in 1992. Okay. And let's see, MLS doesn't really count. But nonetheless, I mean, it was cool to see Ovechkin pretty much act like a little kid once he was getting the cup and all. All right? All you see him is just yelling, yes, yes. That's all he could yell. That's all he could say for about 5 minutes after that game. All right? You see him grabbing it, pretty much smiling like a little kid, taking the cup for a lap around the rink. You can tell it meant a lot to Ovechkin. This is the one, he's kind of like the Peyton Manning of the NHL, I guess, Ovechkin. Okay, got all the stats, all the MVPs and whatnot, but just seemingly was lacking that one trophy, which was for Manning, the Super Bowl, Ovechkin, a Stanley Cup trophy. All right, now he's got it. And for Vegas, what's next? All right, is it fair to expect them to be back there? Okay. I'd say probably not. All right. As good as Vegas was this year, this might have just honestly been, I'm not trying to rate on their parade or anything, it just might have been a fluke. Okay. And I think next year we kind of got to go into the season kind of just with no expectations with Vegas. All right. I mean, as good as they were, it might be a fluke, honestly. All right. I don't have a problem saying that, but it honestly might be a fluke. And as for Washington, I mean, do we expect them to be back here year after year, kind of like the Penguins? I'd say in the playoffs, yeah. But of course, I don't know. Maybe Ovechkin could get another one. I'm not going to go out and say he's going to get it next year, but nonetheless, I mean, the Caps could be back. I'd say that. All right. But nonetheless, it's always cool seeing sports teams in cities where you don't really win too much actually get one. Kind of like with Cleveland and the Cavs. I mean, imagine if the Browns would have won the Super Bowl before the Cavs won the NBA Finals. I mean, Cleveland just pretty much would have ceased to exist. All right. We all know in Cleveland, as much as they love, I don't know. What would you say the top team at Cleveland is? Would it be the Browns or would it be the Cavs? Okay. And I mean, the only reason why I'm asking this is because it's a fair question, I'd say. Cleveland, the Cavs are only up there, I figure, just because LeBron. If LeBron would have never played for the Cavs, I mean, will we be asking this question now? No. So I think it'd probably have to be the Browns as far as the top sports team in Cleveland, right? I mean, like I said, the Cavs have been great, but the Browns are only going to be there for so long. Okay. And I think, yeah, I'd go with the Browns. As far as in D.C., I'd say that's one of the few cities that belong to the Caps as far as cities with 3 major sports teams or whatnot. I'd say so, yeah. Obviously, L.A. belongs to the Lakers. Belongs to the Lakers when they're good. Lakers fans seemingly don't really show up when they're bad. But yeah, I think Capitals probably be the only sports team where they're a hockey team and they're the top team in their city, I'd say. But nonetheless, let's see what else is going on right now in the world of sports. I mean, like I said, tonight we got Game 4 between Cleveland and Golden State. Not much true interest from me in that game. I mean, how could there be? I mean, more so if you're probably just watching to see what LeBron does in his probably his final game in Cleveland, then yeah, I guess that's a plus. But as far as everything else goes, I mean, there's real no interest in checking the game out. I'll definitely be watching it because I'm just a sports junkie or whatnot, but yeah, other than that, I mean, there's not really too much going on right now. All right, so we're going to wrap it up here. Today, we talked about Cristiano Ronaldo possibly leaving, talked about France, Argentina, and England, their World Cup expectations in the third segment. Second segment, we talked about, what did we talk about? We talked about Game 4 tonight, gave my thoughts on it, and then we also talked about the Capitals winning their first Stanley Cup final. So thanks for listening to the GSMC Sports Podcast. As always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. I will be back on Monday to talk to you guys, either to preview a Game 5 or to recap a series. So stay tuned for that. And like I said, I will talk to you guys later.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.